Hey, remember that one episode from the Powerpuff Girls that was banned because the network feared that it would offend Christians?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
You already know who the Powerpuff Girls are. They are superheroes made in a lab, they fight bad guys, including an evil monkey, that's all. The first 4 seasons of the Powerpuff Girls are great, the last 2, not so much. This was around the time show's creator Craig McCracken left the show to pursue other projects like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, leaving most of the crew to experiment other ideas for the show, with some of them pretty good, like silent treatment, but also some stinkers like the sunscreen episode. Like, oh god, this is a precursor to what some of the reboot episodes would do, but I would rather forget that shit. And this also included a rock episode called See Me, Feel Me, Know Me. This episode is a weird one. It focuses on the girls being overwhelmed by the villains of Townsville, wishing that someone would save the city. That leads to a red gnome who offers them a deal to save the city in exchange for their powers. However, the gnome has other plans up his sleeves. And this one is basically a full-on musical episode, and it's also a very messy and very confusing and difficult to follow, but the concepts and ideas that the episode presents is what more than makes up for it and what makes it stand out in this era of mediocrity for the show. And like I mentioned, this episode got banned because the network thought that these steel beams looked like crosses for some reason, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's just dive into this weird episode of the Powerpuff Girls.
The city of Townsville's going down. Tonight on my head will be a brand new crown. Townsville's going down. I'm going to turn your smiles right side down.
So the episode begins with the villains of Townsville destroying and causing chaos in the city, with most of them singing Townsville's going down. And oh boy, that singing is rough.
Townsville's going down. The Powerpuff Girls are nowhere to be found.
Look, I don't want to be too hard on this, but to quote Nintendo when he reviewed this episode, the villains' distinct voices are made to be funny and not made for singing. Aside from Jeff Bennett though, he's really good at it, and you can tell.
And all of the little old people are gonna cry.
Also, you could tell that the music and the lyrics weren't recorded together, so you get something that is, well, to me, not good. I'm sorry guys, I really don't like this song. After this song, we transition to Wanna Get Some, as the girls arrive to stop the villains, and yeah, they get overwhelmed pretty hard. And oh yeah, the song is fine. I don't hate it or anything, but to me, it's just kind of middle of the road. After that, it starts raining, and they start singing Rain. Man, these songs aren't really that good. And while I like the girls singing, and they harmonize pretty well,
I wish of a day where there is peace on earth. I wish of a day where there is love on earth. I wish of a day where there is understanding.
it really isn't doing much for me. And I think the lyrics and melodies are kind of mid at best. I mean, the song is fine. You can feel the girls' overwhelming defeat, but man, I wish there was something that could really change the tides for this episode.
I heard your wishes, little girl.
There is something that I was wishing for. After they wish that someone could solve the problems and save Townsville, a water drops and sprouts a little rose that contains a red gnome who tells them that he can save the city, but in order to do that, he tells them that he wants their powers to save the city. And this is where the episode really picks up.
Hey, how about your life? Girls, you gotta give me your life. Everything you stand for, everything that makes you who you are, your life. Girls, you gotta give me your life. All your superpowers, this is your final hour.
The gnome is basically the standout of this episode, even if he only appeared in this one. But even then, even if his motivations aren't very clear or in the slightest, his presence is really felt here. I also want to mention that the gnome is voiced by Jess Hornell, who is Best known for a number of roles such as Wacko from Animaniacs and Ironhide and Barricade from the Transformers franchise. I also want to mention that they tried to get Jack Black after seeing his guest performance in Clone High, but he would rather do shit like this instead.
Flint and steel.
Blossom and Buttercup are initially hesitant about the deal, but Bubbles convinces them to accept the offer for the gnome's wish to bring peace and save Townsville and also be normal little girls, to which of course they eventually accept.
Let's look on the bright side. We can finally be normal little girls. No more pressure from this town. No more need for the Powerpuff Girls.
After that song, which I think it's decent, we see the gnomes summoning the elders and we only see them for like one scene, and that's basically about it. We never see them again, but whatever. I also want to mention how cool the special effects are, especially for 2003. I think they still hold up to this day.
Chant to set them free.
The chanting, by the way, was basically made up since I tried translating it and it didn't work, so I'm guessing that the crew just made some shit up. The way the elders and the gnome are chanting is probably some Hinduism references. I mean, I checked the wiki, but yeah, shoot me in the head if you want. And then we get some of the most insane shit you've ever got to see from this show. Caesar warning, by the way, you have like 3 seconds to do it.
Hear me, fathers, now. Shall I look to the sun, try make it do? Shall I look to the sun, try make it do? Yeah. Shall I look to the sun, try make it do? Hear me, the spirits now. Shall I look to the sun, try make it do?
I don't even know what the fuck is happening. Why is the gnome aura farming? Whatever, it's cool anyways. He straight up erases everyone and takes the girl's powers. So before we get into the second half of the episode, let me just say this is where the episode gets a bit more confusing to follow and a bit more insane. So right after the gnome kills all of the villains in Townsville, the townspeople start singing Sunshine Down on Me, with this one guy sounding like if Wacko Warner lived in New York City and not in Rotham. I mean Liverpool.
When I feel the sun, my eyes open wide, my troubles are gone.
When the birds start to sing, I know the children can play and laugh all day.
Oh yeah, the song's pretty good too, except for the mayor's part.
The babies can grow and all the little old folks can walk real slow.
The gnome returns and the townspeople there to worship him with the best day of my life.
This is the best day of my life today. This is the best day of my life. Thank you for the things you've done today. Thank you for the things you've done.
This song is actually pretty good, with it having an upbeat tone underlying the gnome's sinister plans, and eventually the gnome forms a cult that worships himself.
The Ku Klux Klan! Oh no!
We later see the girls singing as they sing how it's their best day of their lives, and also not having to worry about the burden of saving Townsville, and also now that they could play all day and be normal little girls, not knowing about the gnome's sinister plans.
This is the best day of my life today. This is the best day of my life. All we have to do is play all day. All we have to do is play.
I actually cried at this scene when I was a kid, and I thought it was emotional. I mean, I'm now 18, and looking back, yeah, it is kind of emotional, but I mean, looking back, it's fine. It's not like it's the worst thing in the world. I mean, the lyrics are subpar, but The musical and harmonies is what more than makes up for it. Even though I love this scene, this isn't the peak of the episode because what we're gonna get next, I don't even know how to tell you about this.
Can't you see the people in the streets, lined like cattle, waiting for the butcher of freedom? Sacrificing their hopes and their dreams, all their individuality for freedom.
Fuck Tommy, this is peak musical shit right here. Freedom Beef is basically the peak of the episode, and maybe the best song of the entire episode. I don't know, maybe it's the surreality of the visuals and the fact that it's catchy. I mean, the lyrics aren't really that great, but whatever. It's cool.
Do the people have to be freedom beef? Do the people have to be freedom beef? Do the people have to be freedom beef for safety on the streets?
I guess the song is about communism since, I mean, the gnome dictatorship is kind of the point, and I want to ask something. Why is the professor dressed up as a butcher for some reason? The professor tells the girls that the gnome is evil and that the deal he made was broken, and also they have their powers back off screen for some reason. I don't know why, but who gives a shit. This episode is confusing as hell. And of course the girls headed into the rose.
We made a deal, did our part, and it was for peace. He broke the deal, failed his part, now we'll fight for peace. If there is bad, there'll be good, and it has to be
for safety on the streets.
This episode gets really fucking weird from here on out until probably around the second to last song. I mean, the visuals get also weird, like what's with the mooses dressed up as gnomes as well as the meat dancing? Also, these shapes are kind of familiar. Whatever, it's cool, I guess. The girls confronted them and sing about balance, yin yang, and whatnot, with some more weird imagery added for good measure, but the gnome zaps them. The song is fine, that's all I can say.
Ooh, oh, don't you know that everybody knows the yin and yang's the master plan? Ooh, oh, don't you know that everybody knows the yin and yang's the master plan?
No. 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 You must die!
However, the girls fight back and the gnome's power is gone. He's unfortunately defenseless and falls to his doom.
There's no sun without the moon. There's no fork without the spoon. There's no joy without the sad. There's no good without the bad.
As the gnome falls into his doom, he talks about his whole spiel and how the world evolves and devolves and how he realizes that his actions are evil and that he cannot exist in his own utopian mind.
As I descend to the earth and I view the universe above me, I realize that life evolves, revolves, and dissolves completely around the opposites. Therefore, I conclude that I cannot exist in my utopian mind.
I like this moment of silence during this scene where all of the gnome's actions are reversed and the rose being destroyed, but sources tell me that the gnome is stable. Please God, I hope he made it out okay. The townspeople thank the girls and worship them for their actions. However, the girls tell that evil and good is what makes the world go round. The yin and yang, if you will. And they wish that things instead would go right and sing about how they should get along and how evil and good should get along. I don't know how I could explain this, but I mean, balance, I guess.
Why can't we all get along? So once again, the day is saved thanks to the Powerpuff Girls.
So that was See Me Feel Me Know Me. It's fine. For an episode that's in the later seasons, I'd say it's better than most episodes of season 5 and 6, though there are problems like the confusing plot, lack of focus, and some of the songs which I find it to be an overall meh. However, it is memorable thanks to some of its visuals, the villain, and the fact that it's a musical episode, which makes it stand out compared to the rest of the episodes. The reasons that left the episode unaired are pretty stupid, but I'm willing to look past it, and I still find the episode to be, I don't know how to say this, Freedom Beef solos everything.
Chicken jockey!